Have you ever wondered why your cell phone battery seems to be drained, even when you barely use it? The truth is that you could be slowly killing your device, without even realizing it. And the worst part is that no one has explained this to you properly. There are a series of silent habits, and even well-intentioned ones, that are sabotaging the health of your battery. And the most curious thing, some of them are precisely those that swear by saving energy. In this video, you will discover the most effective tips and the most hidden curiosities about how to extend the life of your cell phone. No generic promises. Here, you will understand the reason for each action. And the best part, implementing these changes takes less than 5 minutes a day. So, if you want to stop relying on the charger all the time, really save battery and also learn something that few people know, stay with me until the end. You will be surprised by what you are about to discover. It's amazing how a simple click can hide so much waste. Every time a notification appears, your phone wakes up, turns on the screen, vibrates, and sometimes even makes a sound. All of this wastes energy. Now imagine this happening dozens of times a day. It's like having a faucet dripping non-stop. A powerful and practical tip is to access the settings and silence notifications from apps that you don't use all the time, such as less relevant social networks, games, or newsletters. This not only saves battery, but also restores focus. Fun fact, the brain takes about 23 minutes to regain concentration after a digital interruption. Amazing, right? A direct example. You know that shopping app that keeps sending you a sneaker promotion at 3 p.m.? It can be silenced with a tap. On Android or iPhone, you can configure notifications individually. And here's the golden tip. Keep notifications only for useful and urgent things, such as your calendar, important messages, and, of course, your morning alarm. This makes your phone smarter and your mind less overloaded. Most people ignore this small gesture, but those who do feel the difference at the end of the day, and at the end of the month, when the battery ages more slowly. The interesting thing here is that many people think that closing apps or using airplane mode is the big secret to saving energy, but they don't realize the silent villain: constant notifications. Cell phones are like restless children. If we don't teach them limits, they will waste energy for nothing. Turning off notifications doesn't mean abandoning the world. It means selecting what really matters. And this selection paves the way for another essential point in saving battery. Apps that promise miracles, but sometimes deliver the opposite. You know those promises that sound too good to be true? Well, many apps that promise to save battery can actually be sucking up your data behind the scenes. Here's an essential tip. Be wary of any app that promises miracles in seconds. Some really do help, like Greenify or AccuBattery, for example, but only when they come from trusted sources, like the Play Store or the App Store. Interestingly, most malicious apps disguise themselves as battery savers. The name is nice, but the damage can be ugly. These apps work by limiting background processes, controlling screen brightness, or optimizing data usage. It sounds simple, but the impact is real. But here's an important detail. If you download any of them without thinking carefully, you could end up installing malware along with it. And then, instead of saving battery, you'll be frying your device and exposing yourself to security risks. Your phone may slow down, start showing ads out of nowhere, or even steal your banking details. Yes, this happens more than you think. The most strategic tip here is, only install apps that have good reviews, are from well-known developers, and, preferably, have already been recommended by trusted websites or channels. Don't click on random links. An extra curiosity. According to Kaspersky, around 3 million Android devices were infected by disguised malicious apps in 2023. Therefore, it is better to invest time evaluating before trusting. And if you are going to trust, do so in real solutions, such as understanding what really wears out your battery. And this brings us to a little-known point: the real life cycle of the battery. Few people know, but what ages your cell phone battery is not the time itself, but rather the number of complete charge cycles. And here's a curiosity that almost no one talks about. A complete cycle is not just when you charge it from 0% to 100%, but the sum of partial charges that together add up to 100%. In other words, charging from 40% to 90% and then from 40% to 90% again? That counts as practically one cycle. And since most cell phones have between 300 and 500 useful cycles, Each cycle saved is like an extra year of the device's useful life. A valuable and super practical tip: avoid letting the battery run down completely. Many people think that they should only recharge it when the cell phone dies, but that's shooting themselves in the foot. The ideal is to keep the charge between 20% and 80%. Have you ever noticed that your cell phone tends to heat up when it's almost discharged? This is a sign of stress on the battery. Another tip: avoid charging it to 100% if it is not necessary. Leaving your phone charging all night may seem harmless, but over time it wears out the components, especially if the device gets hot. Fun fact: big companies like Apple and Samsung already include a feature called optimized charging in their systems. It pauses the charge at 80% and only completes it to 100% when you wake up. This is because they know the impact that poorly managed cycles cause. And look how curious it is: even with all this technology, there are still people who insist on charging their phones in the car with cheap chargers. But that's a topic for later. Because first, there is a tip that seems simple, but that changes everything. Use Wi-Fi whenever possible. It may seem counterintuitive, but keeping Wi-Fi on, when there is a network available, is a strategic tip for saving battery. The interesting thing here is that the mobile data signal requires much more effort from the cell phone. It needs to connect to distant towers, deal with signal variations, and, therefore, work harder. It's like running a non-stop marathon. With Wi-Fi, however, the effort is much less, because the connection is local and stable. The result: less energy consumption and, as a bonus, savings on your data plan. Now, consider this common situation. You're on the subway, without Wi-Fi, and your cell phone keeps trying at all costs to connect to invisible networks. The result: your battery will drain quickly. The practical tip is simple. If you're in places where Wi-Fi is not available, manually turn off Wi-Fi. That way, your cell phone will stop searching for networks all the time. This prevents that behavior of someone who consumes a lot of energy and only serves to drain energy. In other words, using Wi-Fi is great, but constantly searching for Wi-Fi without success isn't so bad. Fun fact: many cell phones these days offer the Smart Wi-Fi feature, which automatically disables network scanning when you're on the go. It's worth activating. And remember those apps that run in the background, consuming data and energy? Well, in addition to Wi-Fi, controlling what's being downloaded without you noticing can make a big difference. And speaking of which, here's a tip that seems small but has a huge impact: power saving mode, and why it's not always the hero it seems. Everyone has activated battery saving mode at some point, right? It seems like a magic button that saves your phone's battery at the end of the day. And, in fact, in specific situations, it is a great tip. But here's a curiosity that few people know: this mode can end up using more energy in some cases. How so? When the system limits the processor's performance too much, simple tasks can take longer, forcing the phone to keep the screen on for longer, and this, ironically, consumes more battery. Imagine this: you activate battery saving mode to last the whole day, but then your GPS app starts to crash, the browser takes a long time to open, and even WhatsApp becomes slow. The result: you spend more time trying to resolve things that should be quick. This slowness extends the time of use and has the opposite effect. The ideal is to activate this mode only when really necessary, like when the battery is already below 20% and you won't be able to charge it for hours. Other than that, it's better to optimize general use than to reduce everything at once. Fun fact: some power-saving modes restrict notifications, screen brightness, animations, and even background internet access. It seems efficient, but if you need to use your phone normally, it can be like driving with the handbrake on. The tip here is: customize your power-saving mode. Many phones allow you to choose what will be limited. And while we think about how small adjustments can make a difference, here comes an almost invisible detail that has a huge impact on our daily lives. Those automatic downloads that no one notices, but that are always secretly consuming battery. Have you ever stopped to think that your phone might be using up battery just to update that game you don't even play anymore? Well, it is. One thing that often goes unnoticed is that many apps update data in the background, download files, images, and even videos automatically, all without warning. The golden tip here is simple. Disable automatic downloads in the App Store settings and also within the apps themselves, such as WhatsApp, Telegram, and Spotify. It may not seem like a big deal, but this significantly reduces battery consumption and also saves your mobile data. Another point that deserves attention are those forgotten apps, which you downloaded on impulse and never used again. They stay there, taking up space, running processes, and, sometimes, even sending useless notifications. The secret: do a digital spring cleaning every now and then. Delete what you don't need, clear the cache of the apps you use the most, and restart your device frequently. It's like giving your phone a power bath. Want a practical tip? Use tools like the system's own Storage Manager or apps like Google's Files, which help you identify what is just taking up space. And here's one last interesting fact to end on a high note. According to data from Avast, 1 in every 4 apps installed on your phone is considered bloatware. That is, it only takes up space and hinders performance. Digital cleaning is the kind of action that no one sees, but the results add up. Your battery will thank you, your phone will be lighter, and your user experience will improve significantly. And now that you've learned these practical and valuable tips, how about understanding how all of this fits into a change of mindset to better take care of your device and your productivity? Now tell me, how many of these tips did you already know, and how many did you actually put into practice? Most people think that taking care of the battery is just about not letting your cell phone run out. But, as you've seen, the story is much more complex and full of hidden curiosities that make all the difference in daily use. The question that remains is, will you continue to ignore these small details, or will you start treating your cell phone as it truly deserves? Have you ever thought about how much more time you could gain in its useful life with just these simple changes? Or better yet, how much focus time, productivity, and even peace of mind you could regain just by not depending on a power outlet all the time? The decision is yours. But if you've gotten this far, it's because you're ready to take the next step. So tell me in the comments, which of these tips are you going to apply today? And if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. That way you'll receive more videos like this, with practical tips, valuable curiosities, and knowledge that really changes the game. The journey of digital transformation starts with a click. Let's go together.